Hi everyone, Chillax here and welcome back to another Anchor Panic video. So in today's video we will be marking part 15 out of 15 of this 15-part series in which we go over in chronological order every unreleased CN operator to date that has yet to be released on the global side. And this character happens to be Lyrewood, who is a nature healer. She actually just dropped on the CN server last week. And fun fact, the CN server went exactly 2 full years without a new healer. Because on December 2023, Jade was released on the CN server, and they just got this healer last week, December of 2025. So oh my god, right? CN server suffered a lot. Thankfully for us, we're on an accelerated release schedule, so I anticipate that the latest that we'll get Lyrewood is probably a year and 3 months from now, assuming that they release one operator per year from here on out. So anyways, let's get right to it. So this is the default splash art for Lyrewood. She is a guitarist, so her entire kit revolves around music notes. And thank God for her, she is a healer who can heal with her skill as well as her energy burst. And as we will talk about later, there's a way for her to energy burst almost every single turn, particularly if you have her signature Sigil. So yeah, she'll be a very solid healer to add to your roster, pretty much a must pull regardless of whether you have nature element heroes built up or not. And this was this special skin that accompanied her initial release, and yeah, I highly recommend that you hop on Bilibili and check out her character trailer. And I was watching a player who summoned for her, got her skin, and did all the 4 interactions that you can do with her on the load-in screen. And wow, very spicy skin. Yeah, holy smokes. And then in addition to her release, they decided to release a thick series of skins, such as this thick Ukali skin as well as a really thick Karanissa skin. So yeah, holy smokes, very hot skins to accompany very hot waifus. Alright, so now to get to the meat of the video, which is her kit. So this is what she will look like when you log into her character screen. She is a nature healer who is a standard banner hero, so you shouldn't feel FOMO when it comes to pulling on her. Now naturally, because every account will want another healer, so I highly recommend that free-to-play players still summon for her as well as her signature Sigil. However, this is good news for free-to-play players because you can still fail the 50-50 for her in future raid-up banners for other characters. Alright, so now going over her first talent. So pretty straightforward. Allies using skills will grant music score stacks to Lyrewood, but do note that Lyrewood herself cannot proc the generation of these music notes, and extra skills do not count either. So like, follow-up attacks that count as skills, they will not generate a music score for her, unfortunately. And you can have up to 5 stacks of music score. Each stack boosts Lyrewood's damage reduction and healing by 10%, and these stacks last until the end of battle. So over time she will heal more and be even more tanky. Basically getting up to 50% damage reduction and 50% healing. At 5 stacks, Lyrewood enters the Forest Sonata state for 1 turn. Forest Sonata state basically cannot be targeted as priority, immune to interrupt and control. So this is a way for her to not be like frozen. Basically, it ensures that you will always get heals from Lyrewood, both from her skill as well as her energy burst, no matter what the enemy decides to do. And then allies heal 90% of Lyrewood's attack before and after their actions. Whoa, okay, I didn't know that. So if I'm reading this correctly, allies can passively heal themselves, scaling off of Lyrewood's attack before and after. That's kind of insane. I hope this translation's correct. Yeah, that is really nuts. It's like getting Echo's second passive twice. Okay. And then for talent 2, upon taking lethal damage, Lyrewood negates follow-up damage, interrupts enemies, and revives with 90% max HP. So at Ascension 0, she's able to cheat death once. And she cannot be killed by a follow-up attack by, say, I mean, there's so many follow-up attackers at this point. Physical Rose, White Rose, you know, Gleam. Actually, maybe not Gleam, but there's a lot of follow-up attackers, guys, at this point, and this basically allows Lyrewood to not get taken out as soon as she revives. And this effect triggers once per battle. When triggered, Lyrewood gains a music score and immediately heals all allies for 210% of Lyrewood's attack. So it's kind of a way for her to cheat death and also stabilize the battlefield, because on your side of the field, oftentimes when our healers are going down, a lot of our other allies are pretty much on life support, about to go down too, and this is a way for Lyrewood to just do like a last hurrah, cheat death, and pretty much top up all allies that are in the red. And basic attack is pretty standard. And then for skill 1, she heals all allies for 97% of Lyrewood's attack, dispels 1 debuff from each ally. So very powerful. This heavily power creeps Centauria, because up until this point, Centauria, the only way she heals is by energy bursting, and she dispels 1 debuff from all allies. And it's essentially Centauria's energy burst in a skill. So Centauria, oh my god, I don't know what her ranking is after, on the tier list after Lyrewood's release, but I would imagine like Lyrewood definitely replaces Centauria. And Lyrewood's skill 2, usually skill 2s I pretty much ignore because you know, JP server doesn't have skill 2s yet, but if skill 2 ever does come to JP and global server, this is a very powerful skill 2. It essentially grants all allies a music shield that scales off of 125% of Lyrewood's attack. When the shield is broken, deals true damage equal to 10% of the shield's max value to the attacker. Yeah, so you know, if skill 2 never comes to global, then I'm really hopeful that they incorporate the skill 2 into Lyrewood's skill, because it's so good. It essentially makes her Lyra 2.0 and allows Lyrewood to compete toe-to-toe to some extent with Jade, who's the ice healer, right? But we'll see. I'm really curious. This will let us know if skill 2 ever comes to global or not. And then for the energy burst, it's also an AoE heal. If a target is controlled, dispels the control effect. But if the target does not have a control effect, she will grant that target plus 10% attack for 2 turns. AoE heal and utility, yeah. So this is great, right? You either dispel crowd controls that are on your allies, or you buff their offensive capabilities with additional attack. And then if you manage to get her Ascension 6, the Force Sonata lasts for 2 turns instead of 1. And remember what I mentioned before, Force Sonata makes it so that she's, I think, CC immune, if I recall correctly. Let me check. Yeah, she cannot be targeted as priority and she's immune to interrupt and control. Yeah, so that's quite good. And while in Forest Sonata, Lyrewood gains 100% energy generation. Yeah, so that's quite good. So what was the criteria for Forest Sonata originally? Can this be procced on turn 1 is the question. Let's see. No, she needs to have 5 music scores, which it just occurred to me neither her skill nor her energy burst grant her a music score. So I presume that she has to get it from her signature sigil. Yeah, because not even her Ascension 6 grants her a music note. Interesting. Okay, so signature sigil gives her base attack. I don't know why she needs it. I would have much rather it be HP, but anyways, it also includes plus 20% healing effects, so I guess that's alright. When Lyrewood gains a music score, there's a 60% chance, okay, here we go, to gain an extra music note. And then while in the Forest Sonata state, she will dispel one control effect from an ally before taking action. First prioritizing stun and freeze, followed by the earliest debuff. And she will grant herself plus 5% attack, stacking up to 4 times. And her heals scale off of her attack. And I was watching a CN review on Lyrewood, and it was explaining that Lyrewood, she is a really good healer, but also a high attack damage dealer. So she's like a damage dealing healer. Which I find really interesting, and apparently she has good synergy with Yunjuan, who is a physical defender, as well as Shang Chong or something like that. And I spent an hour trying to figure out who she is, because apparently she's a character who already exists in the game, but I couldn't figure out who she was. I apologize. Yeah. So in summary, Lyrewood is a sustain-oriented nature healer built around long fights and steady tempo. She gains power as allies use skills, stacking musical effects that increase her survivability and healing output over the course of the fight. Once she reaches full stacks, which is 5, she enters Forest Sonata state, where she becomes extremely hard to deal with, avoiding priority targeting, ignoring control effects, and providing constant team recovery tied to her attack stat. Her kit focuses heavily on team-wide healing, debuff removal, and protection, with tools that can answer crowd control, stabilizing allies after heavy damage, and even punishing enemies when her shields are broken. But by the way, this shield is from her skill too, so it might not come to global. She also has strong emergency value, being able to survive lethal damage once per battle, while immediately restoring a large amount of health to the entire team. Overall, Lyrewood excels in prolonged encounters where sustained consistency and control resistance matter more than burst damage. She fits best in a skill cycling team that wants reliability over speed, and while some upgrades lean to pay to win, her core identity as a durable tempo-based healer is very clear. Now, what I anticipate will happen is that sales for Lyrewood will skyrocket, right? Because they've gone 2 whole years without a new healer. So I anticipate that come New Year's, I wouldn't be surprised if they release another healer, like a fire healer, physical healer, basically a healer for an element that hasn't been released yet. Because I distinctly remember that earlier in this series we did have back-to-back defenders during a time when there weren't that many defenders released up until this point. So I think this is the devs' opportunity to, come 2026 for the CN side, really release some different choices of healers to really diversify the team building in Anchor Panic, because right now, like especially if you've watched my previous 2 videos, you will know that the meta right now, in at least in PvP, is dominated by Ice and Quantum. So yeah, it remains to be seen if there is, you know, a way to have a solid replacement to an Ice Quantum hybrid team, particularly considering that Jade is a limited healer, and you know, Lyrewood, still as amazing as she is, she doesn't hold a candle to what Jade is able to provide. So anyways, let me know in the comment section below whether or not you're excited for her, whether you'll be pulling for her. You're probably going to need to summon her even if you're a free-to-play player. I think she's too valuable, you know, to skip, at least for right now. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.